จากอุดมการณ์ของทีมงานเล็กๆ ใต้ชายคาสำนักข่าว The Standard ก่อให้เกิดการติดตามจากคนหนุ่มสาวจำนวนมากที่เชื่อในพลังตลอดจนเสน่ห์ของคำและภาษาพวกเขาเจียดเวลาจากความยุ่งเหยิงในชีวิตประจำวันมาสะสมคำศัพท์กับทางรายการผ่านมาแล้ว4ปีจวบจนปัจจุบันนำเสนอคำศัพท์มาแล้วทั้งสิ้นกว่า 8,599 คำแต่กระนั้นผู้ติดตามสุดเลื่อมใสมากมายยังคงคับข้องใจว่าทำไมภาษาอังกฤษของตนยังคงกระท่อนกระแท่นนี่เราต้องสะสมศัพท์ไปอีกนานสักเท่าไหร่สวัสดีค่ะดิฉันกรุณาบัวคำศรีและนี่คือคำนี้ดีพอดแคสต์สะสมศัพท์กันวันละนิดภาษาอังกฤษแข็งแรง
Wow, best introduction ever.
Give me a can of beer
Okay, cold beer for
Cold
Pina
beer.
over here, please. Pina Gruna Bukamsi, welcome to the show.
instead of beer can I have a bottle of water please
Sure, of course.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Actually, before coming here, we
Yeah.
have a situation where we call when shit hit the fan.
When shit hit the fan. Yeah, you want to talk more about that phrase?
No, you explain what happened.
Okay, so actually this is our like second take.
Yeah.
Because the first one was cut short because of the blackout.
Why?
Blackout.
Why the blackout happened?
Well, from what we are told, it's like the rat or like the mouse got into the moblang and then it kind of
ไฟฟ้าดับ
fired up. So that's what just happened on the show.
So this is not the usual room that you would do your show?
No, this is the
Okay.
first time anybody at all would come into this room and be a guest on our show, Comedy Featuring. So you're the first one in this room, red room.
Should I be delighted?
Yeah, you should be totally. Yeah.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for like be patient with us.
No problem, because I'll get you back. Can you hold that?
Okay.
I'll get you back.
All right. So yeah, anytime, like more beers or meals or whatever.
More than that, maybe.
More than that? Okay. What do you want the most out of your life right now that money can buy?
Money can buy? I would say, can money buy time?
Oh, that's interesting.
Tricky, no?
Yeah. So
Very
you want
tricky.
time.
I
You
want
want more
time,
time.
yeah.
So
But
24
time
hours.
is very mysterious.
Yeah.
It's one of the mysterious thing in the whole universe. It's time.
Right.
It's only go forward. Have you heard about arrow of time? The arrow of time is like time only go forward.
Right.
It's never turn back.
Yeah.
And we all have on this planet 24 hours
Yeah.
a day. On different planet you have different hours, but
Yeah.
we have 24. So my question is, if I want time, can money buy time?
It depends. Maybe I guess you can use money to hire someone to do your job for you. Maybe not all of them, but part of them. So you have more time to yourself.
Then
Does it work?
Then my answer would be I want to have more time.
Okay.
And silent.
Silence.
Yeah, silence.
It's also very hard to come by.
Very hard because
Yeah.
it's,
You enjoy silence?
I do enjoy silence.
So what kind of silence are we talking about? Like in this room, is it silent enough for you? Or
No.
So
You can hear a lot of noise.
Noise.
Yeah, and then the silent for me is also the surrounding. It's a peaceful, quiet surrounding where I can be with myself. Just totally with myself.
speaking like a true introvert.
I'm
are
not.
you one? Oh, of course you are. Yeah.
Yeah, I do. I think
Okay.
I never really think about it.
Yeah?
You tell me.
Yeah. Well, normally, an introvert is someone who would enjoy silence, deep conversation with like people they feel very close to, and maybe they're not good with like big party with a lot of people. Something like that. Something along those
I
lines.
think I have two character.
Yeah?
Yeah, I have two character.
Like your working character and your personal character?
No, the character when I'm in Bangkok and the character when I'm not in Bangkok.
Oh, okay.
When I'm in Bangkok or in Thailand, I'm very introvert. I rarely go out, never
I
go to
see.
party.
Yeah.
The invitation is not easily accepted because I just don't wanna. I wanna be home. I wanna be in my peaceful corner and just silent.
Right. When you're elsewhere, like
When I'm
outside of this
traveling,
country.
I'm super talkative.
Yeah.
It's not because of I want to get my work done, but because I want to talk to people when I'm traveling. You won't believe me. When I get to the airport, I start talking to the guy next to me,
Wow.
not hoping that he can be my boyfriend, okay? But just making conversation. Where you from? Where you
Yeah.
going? You know, and a lot of times it's happened that we become friends. Then
Because you're just curious.
I'm
Or-
curious, and then I feel that some people look very sad at the airport sometimes, and I just want to make conversation, you know, or
see.
maybe I was sad,
Okay.
or maybe I was bored. I just
Wanna
you know,
talk to someone.
Yeah, I want to talk to someone. So
Yeah.
I'm very good in talking with stranger.
Ooh, okay.
And another group of people that I'm good at talking with is good friends. Otherwise, I'm not really good in making conversation unless that person has the same interest as me.
Okay. But we can tell that you must be very good at talking to strangers because it shows in your work too.
Yeah, and I love it. I
Yeah.
don't know why. I love talking to stranger.
Yeah.
And I'm
Have
not
you always
pretending
been-
it.
Okay. Have you always been like this or it developed somehow for some reason?
I never think about it. But I remember when I was young, my dad told me that I was super quiet. I was almost like no one would think that I would make it.
Okay.
I don't talk to anyone. I didn't talk to anyone. I refused to walk even when I was 5 or 6 years old.
Oh, okay.
I was just happy to be in my corner.
Right.
Just let the world pass by, you know. I'm okay with it. And then I think things changed when I getting a bit older, especially when I think what changed me when my dad put me in the sort of, because I was coming from like very small town, Aranya Pratet, and we didn't have much to do at that time. We don't have TV, no internet. I mean, when I said don't have TV, it's TV at home. So we only read, and then my dad would just encourage me to go and play with friends like a basketball team. So that's one is actually changed me because when you have to work as a team, then you start like, you know, want to be like popular among
I see.
a group of people.
Yeah.
And I just want to be like, I think when I was young, because I was not really special kind of girl, very average, like not looking good and
Yeah.
whatever. So I have to make it somehow to sort of stand out. And I think it's probably was my nature, but never get triggered until I belong to something and having the similar kind of my group of people, and then I start having conversation, and then I kind of carry on until my university day, and then and until today.
Right. Of course, because at one point you decided to go into journalism
Yeah.
and TV as a reporter, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So that would require some level of like socializing with people.
Yes, yes.
And yeah.
Yeah, I love socializing with people. I think I only become introvert lately.
Oh, okay.
I think
Yeah.
maybe I'm getting old, or maybe it's too much.
Okay.
But even before, as I say, I have two parts of my life. You know, I'm happy to be on my own, very self-contained.
Yeah.
Like I don't need a lot. I can just have a cup of coffee and my books and just you know,
Yeah.
sitting somewhere and not talking to people. I can keep going for days.
But today you're going to be talking to me and to us.
Yeah,
to
we
our
did for 2
audience a
hours
lot.
already.
Yeah. and we hope to learn a thing or two about you. And I'm sure you've got a lot of stories to tell us. So why don't we start with a little like game called Your 5 Words. Since our show is called Comedy, so let's see what your words look like. All right?
Am I
Okay.
allowed to say anything?
Anything at all.
Really? Okay.
Anything at all. Okay,
Okay.
I can't wait now. Okay, so what is your all-time favorite English word and why?
Shit happened.
Shit happens.
Yes. I
Okay.
did say that a lot. If you ask my team or my colleague, I say that almost every day.
Right.
Because when we do work or even in life, things go wrong. Every day things go wrong. And then you cannot really spend too much time thinking about it or obsessed about it. Because shit happened, you know? I mean, I always told my colleague or my people who I work with, if you try your best already and it's not getting there, it's fine. Shit happen. Something go wrong, it's fine. And I think it's very simple word, but I think it's make me feel or make me kind of carry on without regretting too much about what had happened. Shit happened.
Good start.
Yeah.
Good start.
Yeah.
I really like it.
So first shit already.
Yeah.
And you're gonna have a second shit.
Okay. Let's see what's coming our way. Okay. What is the latest English word that you have just learned?
Oh, word.
Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe like slang or like yeah.
IFV.
IFB.
IFV.
IFV.
Yeah.
Okay. So an acronym
What?
of some. Oh no.
Yeah.
Short for something.
Yeah. What is it?
I. F word.
Don't get me wrong. I'm not always say F word on TV or
Okay. Use it in a sentence for us.
IFV. No, I tell you what. it
Okay.
was. Infantry vehicle.
Infantry vehicle.
Yeah.
So infantry.
It's
Like-
ทหารราบ
Oh, okay. And vehicle.
It's ยานยนต์
ยานยนต์
for ทหาร
ยานพาหนะ
ราบ I just learned that word yesterday because I cover a lot of war in Ukraine.
Ah.
And right now, the big story is about whether Germany and the US gonna send the tank or not.
Right.
So I have to study like what the tank is and how it's look like, and if they get the tank, what else they wanna get, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
So I was like researching that a lot, and then I found that if you have already the tank, let it be Leopard 2 or A1 Abrams or Challenger 2, you need another vehicle in order to make it happen because the tank gonna be only centerpiece in the war, but you need ลูกน้อง
Okay.
or ส่วนประกอบ
Right.
you in with the war.
Okay. So
So the infantry vehicle is something that transport the ทหารราบ the infantry into the front line to protect the tank. So it's a formation of the tank battalion that you need to have in order to fight in the war. So I just read and then whoa. So that one.
new word.
Yeah. It's
Okay. Yeah. We learned a new word today too. IFV. Okay. So,
IFV, yeah.
IFV.
Yeah.
Next one. What is the word that best describe you as a friend?
You mean what my friend think about me? Or
How you would describe yourself as a friend?
as a friend?
A friend of your friend. So what kind of friend
I am.
you are or they think you are?
Princess?
What?
I'm
Oh.
very picky.
Really?
Yeah.
So you're not joking?
No, I'm
Princess?
not, yeah.
Okay. Oh,
My friend call me princess.
as in like,
Very close friends call me princess.
Right.
Because with a very good friends,
yeah.
I really picky. And they know Like if I want to have coffee, it has
Yeah.
to be this kind of coffee. It has to be this temperature. It has to be
Okay.
this corner that I sit. It has to be very specific. You know,
Uh-huh.
in the way it's picky, not difficult, but
Yeah.
but you know,
Yeah.
just princess.
Yeah, very particular,
Very
taste
particular
for everything.
Yeah, when it's come to something that I really cares
about,
about, like
yeah.
coffee.
Okay. Ah.
My coffee has to be in this cup, and I have to sit at this table.
Yeah.
We have one cafe that I and my best friend always go, and
Right.
that table, if someone took it, I would get frustrated whole day. And she knows it. She said,
Yeah.
"Don't
Like, all right,
don't
Your
be a
Highness."
princess. Yeah,
Yeah,
Don't,
okay.
Yeah, don't be too difficult." But
All right.
loving,
Okay, but loving. That's good.
difficult but loving.
Okay.
Is that
Okay.
going together?
I think I can live with that person.
Right?
I think I can live with that person.
Yeah.
If he or she is a great friend of mine and I really care about
Yeah.
that person. So
Yeah.
difficult but loving. Still
Difficult,
okay.
yeah.
Still okay.
Difficult but loving, and my best friend would know that. Oh, I can't get what you want. I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
I said, it's fine. We go the other day. Okay, it's fine. You know.
Okay. Wow, that's good. All right. So, number 4. What's the one word that you always say to yourself? Like you tell yourself something, you keep telling yourself something
One
for
word.
whatever reason.
Or a sentence can be a sentence.
It could be a sentence.
These two shall pass.
This too shall pass. Wow. Okay. So, any particular reason or any story behind that?
A lot of shit happening in life, and sometimes it's very hard to swallow. Sometimes it's very painful, and every time I encounter with that things or situation, I would tell myself, these too shall pass. Just go home, sleep, and you wake up in the morning.
Yeah.
So I think for me, I hold that close to my heart because it's the only thing that I can carry on with my life.
Yeah.
To know that this is not permanent, it's just temporary. Very philosophical, no?
Yeah, very
Yeah.
philosophical. I like it.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
didn't expect from me, right?
Of course I do. I expected that from you
Yeah,
too.
yeah. I mean,
Yeah, because it's very
Serious,
well linked
yeah.
to the shit happening thing before. Okay.
I just realized that I have all that kind of word, you know?
Yeah.
It's the same group.
Yeah. So, next one. Okay. What's the one word that you think can best capture your journey as a documentary maker who has traveled to many places in the world?
That's tough. I would say fortunate.
Fortunate.
Yeah.
Okay. So you're lucky to get to go to those places.
Yes. But I reluctant to use lucky
Okay.
because I think fortunate is more appropriate.
Right.
Lucky is, I don't know, it's give you the sense of like you almost like didn't have to fight for it. But fortunate is like more humble because I don't think I am lucky. I just
I mean,
I just-
like things don't just fall onto your
Yeah,
lap, but
yeah.
you somehow have to fight for it still.
Yeah. And I fortunate to be able to fight and have it.
Okay. So what do we have to fight for? Or what kind of fight are we talking about for you to be able to make all those trips?
I have to fight for, but with myself as well, that I can make this. I have to fight for convince people that it's worth doing it. When I say that I want to use the word fortunate is because I was able to do things that I always dreamed to do. And I feel very fortunate to be able to travel the world and see people and go to different places and learn about like problem or different experience from other people.
I bet it's worth it. It's worth the fight.
Yes, I never really asked myself whether it's worth it.
And what do you ask yourself?
I never asked myself.
Really?
Yeah, I'm very like I'm very honest with you. I never really asked myself that much.
Okay. Let's talk a little bit about your like thought process or
Yeah.
the process when you work. Where do you start usually, and what kind of question do you ask yourself in order to do your work, and what do you want to get out of it mostly?
I started from what I'm interested in.
Your interest.
Yeah. I
You only
always
just-
start from there.
Okay.
And then I just go for it. I just follow my heart and soul. I'm interested in war and conflict, for example. I'm interested in like gender inequality. I'm interested in global warming, and then I just go for it. And I don't ask myself because I know exactly what I'm doing and know exactly what I want to do and where I want to be.
So you're very clear with what you want and
Yeah.
what you're interested in.
Very
already.
funny because when young people or my friend ask me like what they should do in life, and I understood that sometimes like people have that kind of question, but
Yeah.
it's funny that I never or rarely have that kind of question to myself because I always know since I was like remember that this is what I want to do,
Yeah.
and not really changing that much.
For lack of a better word, I would say you're lucky in that sense. That
Okay.
Because a lot of people are struggling
I know.
with that like crazy. They still don't know what to do in life.
And
they
I
don't
don't
even know
blame
what they
them.
want. Yeah.
The world is so chaotic, and you and me fortunate enough to born in the era or in the time when the world is not too chaotic.
Right.
I think we are very fortunate, and I feel sorry for the young generation to be born in the time and day when things are so happening so fast and so chaotic, and you chasing everything that like popping up, you know. I remember our day we have time to actually sitting down and just doing nothing and think about okay, maybe I call my friend at 2 and we're gonna go and hang out and play basketball, and you know. So
Yeah.
I think it look like it's wasting of time, but it's actually enriching your spirit and soul and pave the way, and you form your character much more stronger than just chasing something that you don't know what is it.
Yeah. You just know that you have to raise. You have to be better.
Yeah.
You have to just go and get it. You don't
Yeah.
even know what you are getting.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
just like just do it, and then if you like it, you continue doing it. If you don't like it, you just change. I think those days, and especially like my father raised me that way, so I never have any pressure. No
Yeah.
pressure at all. And my dad is really liberal. Not
Okay.
knowing it, he's liberal, but he's
Yeah.
very liberal.
Yeah.
He raised me in the way that I don't have money. I only have freedom for you. Just do what you like.
Wow. And you think that might contribute to
Yeah.
you are so clear with who you are because you have the luxury of time
Yeah.
and the blank schedule enough for you
Yeah.
to work on yourself.
Yeah, my father gave me a blank check and write what I want to be in the future.
Wow.
And if I want to be a farmer, he said, let it be. You can be a farmer.
Yeah.
If you want to be teacher, go for it. If you don't want to know anything, it's fine. Take care of yourself. Don't ask money for me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's a luxury. It's a privilege.
Right.
Having that kind of freedom, and then you actually work out yourself, like what I want to be.
And what you decided to do in your life
Yeah.
is to be a traveler and a storyteller.
I wouldn't say traveler. Storyteller would be more accurate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But in order to tell your story, you still need to travel, right?
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I always love traveling. I don't know why. And I don't want to ask myself why I love traveling.
Yeah.
I just love that I want to go wherever my leg can take me there,
Yeah.
or taking a bus. Because when I was young, as I say, I come from very humble family, and then I don't have a lot of like luxury thing when I was young, and no toys, no TV, and I only know at that time that I want to see every corner of Thailand,
Wow.
every corner.
Okay.
I first because my dad would give me books and we read a lot and we even know and count the state in America before we know where Bangkok is. Because the book that my dad gave it to us is the sort of วรรณกรรมภาษาอังกฤษ and then it's like give us like knowledge and imagination about like America, England, wherever. So we have that kind of world in our head that I want to be there one day. I want to touch the snow. I want to live in the cabin. I want to eat turkey. I want to see Christmas. I want to, all kind of thing is in our head. And yet we are in the small, tiny ampere on the border and exactly when the war happening. And my imagination is so big. And I had to let it out by just dreaming that I want to see that place. I want to go wherever my legs can take me,
Is that why you try to like be good at English too? Like
Yes.
give a lot importance to like studying language because it would take you places.
Yes. I think unconsciously, I know that if I want to do that, if I want to achieve my dream, I have to go a step further. And I don't know, when I was young, my life is kind of go with the flow. I have a big dream, but I did not know how to execute my dream and go there, really.
Right.
Because we just living day by day, because I forgot to tell you when I was young, there was the civil war happening in Cambodia. We have the bunker at home, just a bomb dropping next to my house, and then we have to run and hide in the bunker.
Yeah, Arunni Pratesh is like right at the border, right?
Yeah, it's right on the border, and there's fighting going on.
Wow.
So I have a big imagination in my head, but in reality, I don't know how I would see the snow in Kentucky or Minnesota or see Christmas for once in my life. I had no idea. I just go with the flow. And then growing up, happened to be able to pass into university like Chulalongkorn University, and my world is getting bigger.
Yeah.
And because of I happen to be among people who has a clear path, like เพื่อนๆที่อักษร like I'm going to England, I'm going to New York, I said I have to go somewhere too. Huh? So I said, okay, to be able to achieve that, I need to improve my English. My English was bad and still bad. I'm not perfect in English, but I just get by, and then I decided I have to jump into it. It's the only way to sort of encounter with my problem is just to go for it.
Yeah.
Hit your head with the wall. So I apply work, job at Bangkok Post.
Right.
And then because maybe I was a bit talkative, and I was doing some political activity when I was student. So they kind of, okay, you have a quality to be a journalist. You know how to ask the question. Your English is not good, but there's skill that you can improve later. And the skill that you can't have in person or can't find easily is skill that you able to connect to people. So that's why I got the job, and then gradually I improved my English. It's not perfect yet, but I get by, and I got scholarship and going to study in England, achieve my dream, seeing snow, so cold. And the only thing I miss when I was in England is the sun shining. I called my dad, said, Dad, the sun is shining. My dad said, what's wrong with you? It's so hot here.
But it was so gloomy here. Yeah. And you're studying what in England?
I study environmental policy. It's kind of interdisciplinary study. It's
Right.
kind of because at that time I'm very interested in environmental problem. I want to know if we want to trade a piece of forest for a dam or a project. Is that worth it? So I studied that kind of thing.
Yeah. Okay. And I can see that you're still into those kind of things too, like world problem, like in a
Yeah.
very bigger scale.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
And okay, I'm trying to link all the pictures together, like piece everything together from being a student studying environment in London, and then how do you get from there to being Karuna today?
Well, I chose to study theory because I think it's important. I need one skill that would enable me to be a good journalist is analytical skill, if you call that.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
Let's skill to analyze.
to analyze, to be able to know which knowledge information is important, to analyze, to ask the question, to write in order to process your thought properly. Because when I was working at Bangkok Post, I mean, I'm very average. Like, okay, I ask a question, I write a story, but it's not that critical. And I want to equip myself with some skill that I think is important to be a journalist is
Right.
the ability to analyze
Okay.
anything that you are seeing.
Right. And how did you get those skills?
I think the study in England helps me a lot because it's quite different. When I was there, I mean the system there is not very spoon feeding. It's kind of they assign the work, and then you have to go and search for the book and spend a lot of time in the library and read and discuss with your friend and
Yeah.
try to capitalize, analyze, and make the project. So it's really like useful to kind of help or force you to do things that eventually equip you with all the things that you need to have that kind of skill. I think for me, to be able to do things that I think is okay, is right in my view, is very important. I hate to be told.
Okay.
And it was the first time that I enjoyed studying. I mean, don't get me wrong, I like studying, I like a lot of teacher in my life, but I think the system in England
Yeah.
fit me more
Right.
because I just like, they let me go
Yeah.
and just fly out and then
they just facilitate the
yeah,
learning.
yeah. And my supervisors tell, okay, that's going to right direction. Maybe you try that more and more. So I think it's kind of like that way. I took that approach into like sort of my working.
Yeah. Into your documentary making.
Yeah.
So let's go back to your show, which is ร้อยเรื่องรอบโลก and there are a lot of like popular videos on that channel, like millions, right? Are those popular video also your favorite?
Not all.
Not all of them.
Yeah. I think my favorite video, and very sad and gloomy, is about a lady who make decision to go to euthanasia. I remember when I did that story, I was able to convince a lovely lady. That story was in Netherlands. Netherlands is a country, one of the country who has the euthanasia law that you can, leave the world without pain and suffering if you want to. And the lovely lady I visited, and she very open to me, allow me to ask her like why she choose to go that way. Okay, this is a debate. Nah? If you are really sick and you know that you're gonna go through the periods of pain and suffering, there's few countries in the world that allow you to go before you go through the period of pain and suffering, and one of it is Netherlands. They have that law since 2002, and I'm very interested in that kind of story because it's a debate that is really deep, like you pro-life or you pro-choice.
Right.
Yeah, so okay, I'm gonna do that story, and then we able to manage the lovely lady called Femic Price to talk to us. And that probably the story that touched me the most. Because if you know that you're gonna die in 2 weeks because of you decided that doctor can inject the liquid in your body and you die, leaving your family behind, you have to be very brave and decisive. Nah? And she was talking to me about her decision. And I met the whole family, daughter and son and husband, who know exactly what's gonna happen to their mom in the next 2-3 weeks or a month.
Wow. That must have been very hard on
Yeah,
the
but
family too.
yeah, very hard. But also, I saw a courage. I saw a brave soul. I saw a soul that is almost admit this is a part of life. You know, I have a deep conversation with the family, and that story is actually like provoke my thought the most. I would say it's probably not one of the most popular story, but I think for me it's the most thought-provoking conversation that I ever encounter.
Yeah. Wow. I can imagine that one thing about your job that must be very, I'm so envious of that kind of opportunity for you to go to travel and find those people and have a meaningful conversation
Yeah.
with them, and then you can learn something from them.
Yeah, definitely.
Let's talk more about people that you have met on your journey. So I think that must have been one of the most impressive people or family that you have talked to.
Yeah.
Can you think of anybody at all that you have the greatest conversation with?
I have good conversation with Joshua Wong.
Okay.
He's in prison, unfortunately, right now, and it's very brave, and he's so clear what he is doing. I'm very impressed and inspired by a young person like him, and not only him, but I have a lot of young people who I interview and talk and encounter with, and who inspire me. I remember my first story was in Iraq. At that time, it was like the heavy fighting going on between ISIS, and ISIS was like big at that time. So I always want to go to kind of not war zone, but a conflict area to find out about life of people, how they live. So I'm interested in sort of gender issue. And I read the story about a group of female fighter who pick up their rifle and gun to fight with ISIS. Like 20 years old, 25 years old, leaving university and everything behind and go to the front line and fight with the terrorists. So I want to see them. I want to really meet them, and having conversation with them. So we flew to Iraq, and then I was able to, contact them and go to the front line with them. And then, when we think about Middle East, we tend to generalizing it, or we having stereotype that, okay, must be that and that, they must be very uneducated, or
Yeah.
what I mean. When we
Right.
think about, okay, Chinese people or Iraqi people, but in reality, they're just like us, you know.
Human is just human,
Human,
right?
just human. She also has family. She she has a really good uh, knowledge about art, and but she can't continue doing a life that we are enjoying, because her land is ruined by those bad guys. So they have to pick up the gun and rifle to fight, So I really enjoy like talking to those people, and realize that, like, every time I go somewhere after that, I feel like home, because we are connected with the story.
So, what kind of question did you ask them?
I always starting with, why did you do that? Very simple. I think the good question always starting why, and you always get the answer. You just keep asking why if you don't know what to ask. Because when you ask why, you get the answer. If you ask what, you get a shorter answer. So why you do that, and then the story come out, and then I follow up after that, because I have no idea where they're coming from, what their life was or is. So I always start with that question and
It's
then
like you
go
try to
deeper.
understand
Yeah,
the cause of their action or what they think,
yeah,
how they feel.
yeah. Then when I met Joshua Wong for the first time, I said, why you do that? You can just go to university and then get a good job, and why you get on the street and fighting Xi Jinping, and you know that you can't win over him.
Any conversation or anybody at all that you talk to make you cry?
I would go back to Femi Christ story. Yeah, because I asked her daughter, because when you decide to do mercy killing or euthanasia, you have to be like full conscious. You have to know exactly what you are going to encounter with. Like, you're going to be injected with some kind of medicine and you're going to die. So I asked the family, like, I asked her, I remember that, like, what you think about your mom making this decision. And I think her answer made me cry, because she said she really loved her mom, but it was her choice, it was her life. I had to let her go.
That's pretty heavy.
Yeah. And the story about is kind of sad but beautiful, because
Yeah.
that story I did, okay, we get to talk to Femi before she going under that procedure, talk to family, and we take her to do something that she wanna do for the last time before she go. And we call last wish, like, before you die, what you want to do. And she want to go to see the tulip garden, the Gartenhof.
Right.
So we took her to Gartenhof.
Oh.
And it was the most beautiful day, sun shining, the flowers so beautiful, and Femi was so happy. Just look like that someone who make that decision. And the family is like, it's a mixed feeling. And I was kind of, I know I'm just like outsider, observer, but I can't stop feeling for them, like how difficult that must be, knowing that someone you love the most gonna go soon. It's like, I think someone, if, how to say, the most challenging question for me or a lot of human beings is like, what would you do if you know that you're gonna die in 2 weeks?
Yeah.
What would you do?
You're asking me?
I don't know. I'm just asking in general. I'm asking myself every day. What if I was in her shoe? What if you know,
Yeah.
I did that story 4 or 5 years already, and still,
Stuck with you, huh?
yes, stuck with me.
Because I can imagine this kind of conversation might come up when we like drinking with friends and we kind of like talking and swapping stories. And what would you do if you have like only 2 weeks to live, 2 weeks to live, and then we can just like
I'll go to North Pole.
okay,
That's my dream. I never tell anyone about it, but I told you, and I'm telling you here.
yeah,
I want to go to North Pole. I want to, because I hate cold.
you hate cold, but
I hate
still you want to
cold.
go to North Pole.
Because I want to overcome that one before I die.
Okay, all right.
I don't have anything to worry anymore, to be honest. If I know that I would die in 2 weeks, I would go to North Pole and come back and die happily.
I don't even know how to answer that question myself. And I'm sure a lot of people who are watching still don't know.
I think I was able to say that and sincerely say that because I don't have anything to worry anymore. My parent passed away. I don't have kid. I have husband, but he can take care of himself. He's more than capable. I have my sister and brother who I love so much, but I know that they're gonna be okay. And I think I kind of, I don't know what I want to wish in life anymore. I don't want to die tomorrow. Don't get me wrong, but I don't have long list to do.
It sounds to me like, I mean, every story you told and every life stories we talked about earlier, I get the sense that you're someone who only do what you want.
At this stage, yeah.
Talk to anybody you only want to. Have you ever had to talk to someone you didn't want to but had to
Yeah.
for your work, for example? Authority.
Yeah. Because I have to balance my story.
Right.
And then I have to go and talk to authority.
Yeah.
I don't like talking to them because they never tell the truth. I'm not talking about Thai authority, any authority
Any kind
in
of
any
authorities.
country.
Yeah.
But it's part of my job because I can't just say like one part of
Yeah.
story
You
and
have
not
to tell
yeah.
both sides of the story.
Yeah,
as
whenever
they say.
I have to interview authority,
And what do you usually do? How do you get things out of them?
Ask.
What's your secret?
I ask, and then sometimes, for example, I did a lot of sensitive story. For example, if you watch my show, I did a lot of sex worker, which is
Right.
so hard to film because why would you sit down and talk to me? What will you get? If I was a sex worker and you want to interview me, what do I get? I'm not giving you money because it's not, I'm a journalist. I'm not like give money for story.
Yeah.
What do I get? So I usually convince them that, okay, when I did story in Netherlands, the lady who's sex worker and sit in the red light
Right.
box, and I got access to film that and interview the owner of the box because I was sitting there for 3 days trying to convince him that Thai people are very interested to know because we have that in Thailand too, but we not legalized, and we want to know like why you think legalized sex worker is way to go, So I have to, and every human being has that part. They wanna give something back, either their experience or their time or whatever. And if you show that you gonna do the story in the way it's not sensational, it's for educational, it's for understanding. People will
Open
willing
up
to
to
sit
you,
there. Yeah,
right?
yeah. And then, he opened up and he allowed me to talk to his employee, which is a sex worker, and follow them, blah, blah, blah. And that one is opened the door for me to do that kind of story somewhere else because I remember I did that one in Singapore, which is super hard to get access to. And then because they're afraid that you're gonna sensationalize that story. You wanna make yourself like, oh, I've been there, done that. I filmed that. You're center of story, and you portray them as a bad woman. So I show them that this is what I did. I'm not tabloid. I want to have a proper conversation in my society, a debate, question, or whatever. We need to talk about it. And then they saw that work, and then they opened the door for me. So, I mean, when you hold to your principle and you gain trust, and it will open the door for you wherever you go.
Yeah. It would take a lot of convincing too, right?
Yeah. You have to have I call convincing skill, how to talk to people. And sometimes people say no, but a lot of time they say yes.
Right.
And I think it's one privilege to be journalist is, and you shouldn't forget about it, and you should cherish it. You should put it in a very high place because you are in a very unique position to see anyone from the prime minister to the prisoner and talk to them and convey the message or whatever that you want to have so people can understand.
Yeah. You're so proud of your job.
Deeply, I'm proud of them. I'd be lying if I said I don't.
Yeah.
But I try not to say that I'm so proud of myself because it look like I'm so arrogant. But I like what I do, and I think I never really asked, like we have that conversation before when I starting this project. I did not really ask people what you want to watch. I just do what I want to do. I have some kind of thing in my head.
Yeah.
And then I formulated. I said, okay, I'm going to do this and this. And I convinced my sponsor to support me. That's enough. And then I'm very fortunate that, I got someone who really supportive and allow me to do what I believe in. And I just do what I want to do.
Right.
And then I show it to the people, and if they like it, they like it. And I try not to put too much my opinion in my story. I'm just be as an observer. And because I want to create a conversation in the society, I want people to ask why. That's it. That's all I want to do.
You've been to many places, many countries. Coming back and looking back at Thailand, what do you see? What do you think?
2 words: appreciation and frustration.
Wow. Quite the
The
opposite.
opposite, yeah.
Okay. Elaborate, please.
Appreciation because Thailand, I love Thailand because, one thing that I appreciate about Thailand is what you call geographical feature is excellent.
Right.
We
We're
not-
blessed that way, right?
Yeah, we have like beautiful mountain, and you travel by plane 2 hours. You get into beautiful beach. The country is not too big. It's not too small. The population is the right side. You don't sitting on the ring of fire. You don't have earthquake. It's just good place to be. But frustration because it could have been better. You know what I mean?
From the aspect of the people or
The
we,
whole
the
thing.
Thai people?
The whole thing. People affecting environment and how we live. I think if I elaborate is we could have done much better if we don't have corruption. Because without corruption, people will have more equal chance to compete. And that way it's opened up so many good vibe.
Yeah.
You feel different when you go to open society.
Exactly.
And I've been to both country, and the country where I have to watch my back all the time, I don't like it. Compared to country where I arrive and then, let's go and have cup coffee without being afraid that someone gonna follow me. And we can do
Much better.
much
right?
better.
Do you want to talk a little bit about what is preventing us from get a lot better? What do you wish?
I wish there's no corruption. That's all. I mean, I'm not saying that 100% free of corruption. It's corruption in any society. Don't get me wrong. It's like I've been saying it. Somewhere it's worse. Somewhere it's less. But we are getting too deep into that, and it's eating our soul. And it's frustrated me because I love my country. And I think if we have a more open society, more equal opportunity, it'd be nicer because we got everything. Only thing I would ask for is just less corruption, and people don't tolerate corruption. Don't be part of it. What is going on?
และฝากไว้สำหรับ Candy Members นะครับเรามีเวอร์ชั่นพิเศษ ตอนไฟดับมาให้ดูกันด้วยนะครับการพูดคุยกับพี่กรุณาบัวคำศรีครับอัดโดยกล้อง iPhone ดิบๆเลยเพราะฉะนั้นบทสนทนาที่ได้ก็จะ raw and real มากๆสุดๆเป็นหนึ่งในคอนเทนต์แบบ exclusive สำหรับสมาชิกประเภท The Clan ใครยังไม่ได้เป็นเมมเบอร์เข้าไปที่หน้าช่องของเรา Candy Studio บน YouTube นะครับกดปุ่ม join และเลือก The Clan นอกจากวิดีโอลับที่จะให้คุณได้ดูเท่านั้นแบบนี้แล้วนะครับยังมีสิทธิ์ในการเข้าร่วม Language Cafe พูดคุยสดๆเป็นภาษาอังกฤษครั้งละ1 ชั่วโมงเต็ม one on one กับ Speaking Buddy ของเราด้วยนะครับ so join now
I have time till midnight. It's good cut, no? Black out and then conversation on
Good
the
content.
dark.
Yeah.
Content.
This is so
Yeah.
raw
We
and
call
real.
like,
โอ้พี่นาไม่มีอากาศหายใจ
don't worry about me.
นั่งไปอยู่ในเหตุสงครามมาแล้ว
You worry about yourself.
I'm okay, I'm doing fine. I'm doing fine.